Right, good evening, Danny. Thanks for joining me today. We've got some updates on players and things like that. So we're going to start with a couple of players that have left the club. 𝗛𝗨𝗙𝗖 to start with.
Yeah, so the official state at the moment is that we've allowed him to speak to another club. Obviously, his game time's been limited, and I think from our perspective, we need to make sure that we're utilising the squad the best way we possibly can. And with his position, we think we're quite well covered there at the minute. So we've given him an opportunity to speak to another club, and yeah, we'll post an update on that. But that's what's happening with him at the minute.
Okay, and the one we posted last week, Tommy Fagg.
Yeah, as I said, Tommy, we had a long sit down with Tommy, and with the injuries he's got and his availability to be able to contribute to the relegation battle that we're in, it's best for both parties if he stepped away. And credit to him, he was like, I want to help the club, and I don't think it's a case of us struggling financially, but we have got a budget, and he was a big part of that budget. So yeah, we needed to recruit some money where we could, so we could try and get some players in to help strengthen the squad. And like Tommy has been excellent since I've been here. I said that to you when we put the first statement out, and I spoke to him today actually, and he's asking how things are going, how the lads are and stuff. So he's a great lad, and we wish him all the best, and hopefully we wish him a speedy recovery.
That's nice, because once players come in, they do tend to feel at home. So it's nice to know that even though he's not playing, he's still trying to help the club and doing something like that.
Yeah,
shows character.
Yeah, not all players are like that. And I'm not saying they should be, but he's got a great mentality when it comes to the situation, and he knows that at the minute he can't affect the pitch himself, so if he can help affect it in other ways, he's trying to do that. So as I said, we're grateful for his support on that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Right, now we've got a few injury updates, because of course Tommy was one of them injured. We'll start with Tom Chalmers.
Yeah, the Tom Chalmers one obviously was pre me coming in, and it'll be post this season, unfortunately for the lad, and he's still awaiting surgery, and that will be quite a lengthy recovery from that surgery. So unfortunately for him, it'll probably be middle to back end of next season before we can even start thinking about playing again. So obviously as a club we've supported him the best way we can, and it's a shame because everyone keeps telling me what a great player this lad is, and unfortunately I've not had a chance to see that yet. So again, it's another one we wish a speedy recovery to, and just it's a shame that unfortunately these things happen sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And then another one, same injury, 𝗛𝗙𝗙𝗑𝗙.
Yeah, so Bill, again, like I was fortunate enough to see Bill play at the start of the season at a game I watched, and he definitely would be someone that could help us at the minute with his energy levels and his pace and his power. But unfortunately, again, I'd be very surprised if he kicks a ball this season, if not to the back end of the season if he's lucky. So, but again, we try and support him the best way we can, and hopefully again he gets well very soon.
Yeah, we see him coming to games, so he obviously, wants to be back out there. You can see he's visibly missing it, but like you say, the club are behind him and helping him.
Yeah, and we obviously we're a third tier of non-league football club. There's limited resources in regards to what we can supply him from a medical perspective, but which we try and support players in the best way we possibly can. Same with Sam Crockwell. Obviously we've had the news that we won't see him again this season, and with the injury that he's got, probably won't be seeing him before Christmas for the next season, which is a real shame, because he's another one that I'd really like to have seen play and have more of an impact on the side. But unfortunately for these lads, we play a sport with a lot of variables, and one of those variables is injuries. So it's tough on them. We've got a few injuries, and it's not good, because they're all players that would definitely be affecting the pitch now if they were fit.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have a chat with Sam, and we'll catch up with him so the fans can hear his side of it. But again, we wish him well. And then one that happened Saturday, Kieran Moynes come off that.
Yeah, we're still waiting for an assessment on him. It didn't look good, I have to be honest. There's a bit of swelling, and there's some soreness still, and a little bit of movement issues with regards to how much mobility he's got. But we're not going to make any conclusions. We need to have that professionally assessed, and Bobby's been great with him, so he's been in contact. So we'll leave it at that in a minute, and hopefully we'll get some news on him soon. And fingers crossed, and touch wood, and rabbit's feet, and every bit of luck you hopefully need that he's not a long-term injury, because he's been excellent the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on from that, so that's the injuries. Recruitment, how are we looking there?
It's been tough. I'm not going to lie. You're trying to bring players into an environment where we're at the wrong end of the table. I think we all know what we've been lacking, which is goals. I think we've shored the team up more, and we look less like conceding silly goals, and we look a bit more efficient defensively. I think that's shown on Saturday with our clean sheet, our first clean sheet at home. But we didn't create many chances. Listen, let's be brutally honest. It was a very poor game on Saturday. Both teams were poor. The surface didn't lend itself to us playing any free-flowing football, and we were quite looking forward to Saturday's game post the Cheshunt game. Although we lost the game at Cheshunt, the performance was a good one, and we played and created a lot of chances, and we didn't really do that. I mean, neither did they. I think Louis made one save in the whole game. But look, that is what it is. But from a recruitment perspective, it's definitely the forward line we're trying to affect. We brought Sia in from Eastbourne Borough. I think the fans liked what they saw on Saturday. He was actually better the Saturday before against Cheshunt. He'd admit that. But this is a lad that needs 90 minutes under his belt, and that's why we left him on Saturday, because he needs to get fit. Hence the fact he's with us, because I think if he was firing on all cylinders, he probably would be affecting Eastbourne's team. So we have to take that into consideration. But we're working hard, and it's just not easy. It's a long way to come. There's a limited talent pool in the area for recruitment. Those forwards that are on fire and scoring goals in this area are generally at clubs that they don't want to leave. Money comes into it, travel comes into it, our league position comes into it. So it's about getting the right people in as well, because we could go and sign some forwards from step 4 and step 5 clubs, not knowing whether they're going to actually affect our pitch and affect our team. But we need to make sure it's right. We can't just throw a load of loans or attacking players into the mix and hope that works. We need to make sure we get the right player, and we definitely know that's an area we need to improve on, because I think we're better defensively now. We just need to affect the other end of the pitch if we're going to get the points we need to survive. Yeah,
definitely. You say with Sia coming in, it was nice to see someone closer to David, and you could tell that something was going to happen. It's just they need to play together, they need training, they need time.
Yeah, and you know, Dav scores a great goal at Cheshunt. It's a great worked goal, and we get a good finish. We miss a hatful of other chances, and they were created because of the fact that we actually had 2 players affecting the final third constantly, whereas I think Dav's been a bit isolated previously. We see that. The thing is, you hear some of the disgruntlement from the supporters about the way that the game goes sometimes and whatnot, and it's hard to disagree with them a lot of the time. We see it too, and you're always governed by what the players do once they cross that white line, and we set up to go and win football matches. We wanted to win on Saturday. I don't think it looked like that at times. We were a bit negative at times, and you could see the mindset of the players, especially going into that last period. Because I don't know if you remember the Lewes game. We dominate the game.
Yeah.
They break and get a penalty, and we lose the game 1-0. And I think we more than deserved the point out of the game, probably all 3. So you could see an element of, right, we've got a chance to get a point here. Let's make sure we don't concede a goal.
Yeah.
Well, there's a caveat to that, isn't there? If you're trying hard not to concede, then unfortunately you're probably going to lose something at the other end of the pitch. And I think we were guilty of that on Saturday. So, but we got the point. We stopped the run of defeats, and it gives us something to build on. Not the 3 points we wanted, but I'd take 1 over 0. So
yeah,
we will look forward and upwards from there.
It gives the players the confidence that, yeah, okay, we've kept a clean sheet now. We can explore a little bit. You know, we've got the lose off your back, like you say, and time to move forward.
Yeah, and we have to keep that mentality, because games are running out, and we've still got a big enough grouping of games that are in and around us that we can affect, and in the typical 6 pointers, if you want. We just got to make sure we're on the right side of those results.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing you touched on with the interview the other day is the warm-up. You felt that wasn't right, so that sort of leads on to training this week. How do you feel going into this week of training?
Well, look, let's be honest. I said to the staff that the warm-up's flat, and by the way, I've spoke to the staff as well. They held their hands up, and I said, we have to, if we feel that the warm-up's flat, we have to stop it and energise it, and we have to make it in a way that the players respond to that, because just like we need the fans sometimes to energise the team, that we need the staff to energise the players, and vice versa at times. And I was disappointed with the warm-up on Saturday. For the warm-up's poor, and I think that showed in the first 5-10 minutes of the game. I think we started really slowly. And people might argue I've seen us have bad warm-ups and we started fine, but from my perspective, I think that lent itself to the way we started the football match, and we need to make sure that doesn't happen again, and that will be drummed into the players this week, and they have to take some accountability for that as well, because they're in the warm-up. You know, if you're in a training session, whether the bounce in the session is there or not. You know whether you're influencing the environment or not, and if you aren't, or the energy's not there, someone has to take the responsibility to put the energy in, and it can't just always be staff. If it's on the pitch, it needs to be the players. So that's something we need to address. There's lots of little things. I'm massive on marginal gains and 1%ers, and that was a 1%er on Saturday that we got wrong as a collective, and we have to take responsibility for that.
Have you spoken to the players and heard their side of that, whether they felt it was flat, or is that something to cover this week?
Players are very good, and at every club I've ever been at, they're very good at giving you some answers what you want to hear sometimes, and I'm a big believer in actions over words. So I just need to make sure that never happens again, and if it never happens again, we'll take it on the chin and we'll move on. It can't happen again. We need to make sure that those situations, whether it's a warm-up for the game, a warm-up for training, whatever it is, everyone's at it, and they have to. There's non-negotiables, and everyone being at it is a non-negotiable. Yeah,
definitely. Lastly, Wingate at the Pilot Field this Saturday, another home game. One to look forward to.
Well, yeah, it's another chance to put 3 points on the board, isn't it? And we have to look forward to the games. We don't want to fear the matches. We don't want to fear the opposition. We don't want to fear. I mean, they had a fantastic result on Saturday, and they'll be coming into the game buoyant and full of confidence. But we don't fear anyone, and we can't, because that's when you get periods like you did in the last 15-20 minutes on Saturday where there was a little bit of fear setting. I think that we don't want to concede. We'd rather not lose the game as opposed to try and win it. From my perspective, we need to make sure that we take the positives out of Saturday, which is the clean sheet. We did create a couple of chances, nowhere near enough. That's the negative, so we need to work on that, and we need to make sure we put those right on Saturday against a very good Wingate side who there's no reason why this lot shouldn't be confident that we can go and win the football match.
No, we was unlucky in the away fixture to them. You know, we again played really well, but didn't quite get everything over the line.
I think that's been the story so far, hasn't it? I think if you was going to write a lot of reports on Hastings' season so far, they would all probably start and end in what you've just said. We've played really well today and created lots of chances, but unfortunately a mistake cost us the game, or we didn't quite get it over the line, or there was a
penalty or something,
whatever. And I suppose that's where that feeling sorry for yourself has got to stop. And we've got to take some, back to that word, accountability, some ownership of the situation, and we need to make things happen. You know, people are not just going to hand us points. We need to make things happen, and that starts with training, and that's been a frustrating thing for us, the training, because probably over a third of our sessions, if not more, have been off or cancelled because of weather, or the game's been cancelled and we couldn't get a venue, or the venue's cancelled on us last minute, and everyone at the club's working hard to constantly to try and get us some continuity of where we can train, and because we need it. We need to be on the grass together, we need to be working together, we need to be looking at our shape, we need to be looking at how we can affect the opposition, how we can deny the opposition, general fitness we need to keep up with, and it's difficult when you haven't got that constant venue where you can train at. And as I said, everyone behind the scenes, the board, the staff, myself, we're working hard to try and get that venue, but it's not easy. There's not an abundance of facilities in this area that we can use, and that's something that we definitely need to address long term, because one, for recruitment, because when you're talking to players and they're asking you where you train, and you're like, well, sometimes we train here and sometimes we train there, and it's not the easiest selling point. So, but as I said, with myself, Ben, Dean, the staff, we're working hard to try and address that now.
No, that's good. I mean, you know, just me walking in here today, the atmosphere feels good, there's positivity, so I think we're going to see a reaction from you, the players, on Saturday with the game at Wingate, or against Wingate.
Yeah,
So it's
I
just
think
one to get.
there's no need for us to be negative, because that's only going to result in one thing, isn't it? That's going to result in more defeats and more pressure and whatnot. We have to be positive. We've got good players. We've not got the playing surface that we probably want at the minute. And I heard one of the fans shouting out on Saturday that get it down and play. And I'd like to invite Guardiola down with his Man City boys and see if they can get that ball down and play on that pitch at the minute. And it's the weather, and when you have a grass pitch, it's difficult when you're a third tier of non-league football club.
Yeah.
We haven't got full-time ground staff. We've got people that are working hard to try and get games on, let alone make it a playing surface that's worthy of great football, because we'd all love to be playing great football. And I don't think it's any coincidence that a lot of our good points away from home have been on good pitches. But that, it is what it is. It's not an excuse. It's just something we've got to slightly adapt our game to try and nullify mistakes, because I think we've all seen a lot of mistakes here. Since I've been here, there's been a lot of mistakes on that pitch, trying to do things that you can't do on there because you're going to make mistakes. So there's a period of transition, and then when we go away from home, especially when you're playing on 4Gs and stuff, you can have a slightly different philosophy. So we just have to be adaptive to what the situation is, and just messages generally, just stick with it. We'll be okay if we stick together.
No, that's good. That's what the fans are going to want to hear. So thanks for your time today, Danny.
No problem.
We'll see you Saturday.
Cheers, Al. Thank you.